Hello people of all kinds, Scorching here. So a few weeks ago I made a sort of first listen reaction review to Linkin Park's new album, One More Light. And, I mean, even though the album itself was pretty mediocre overall, the actual video that I made for it got a lot of good feedback, I think. It's got a lot of views, like over 1,500, which is the most I've ever gotten on this channel. So, and also I've been getting a lot of comments, which I don't usually get that many comments on videos. So thank you for that, people. I felt like the reaction review thing was a lot more fun to do than just traditional reviews, because, like I said, with traditional reviews, my problem is that I struggle to really know how I feel about an album within just a few days of the album's release. It really takes time for me. So at least this way I can at least give my initial thoughts on the album, and then I might come back to it later and review it properly, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, today we're going to be reacting to Rise Against's new album titled Wolves. Rise Against are an American hardcore punk band, and I've never been like a die-hard fan or anything, but I've always enjoyed their music. My big problem with their sound is more that a lot of their songs just kind of blend together and end up sounding very similar. You hear the same you always hear the same drum beats, similar guitar lines, and similar vocal melodies even, and you know, it just causes a lot of their songs to blend together. However, their last album, The Black Market, I actually enjoyed quite a lot, mainly because it sort of showed the band doing something a little bit new, and there was just a lot of great songs on that album in my opinion generally. There was a few mediocre songs, but overall I really enjoyed The Black Market. So with this new album, Wolves, I'm expecting something slightly new again, but I'm still expecting it to be very Rise Against, of course. I heard the first single, The Violence, and I definitely enjoyed it. I haven't quite let it like grow on me properly to know how to properly feel yet, but it did have like a hint of something a little bit new, I guess. So we're gonna see how the album goes. Let's go. The first track is titled Wolves. I really like it when bands do this thing where, like, you know, quiet moment with singing and then guitar riff right after it. It already sounds so passionate and powerful. He's singing pretty fast there. He's like rapping almost. The guitars are beefy as ever, that's good. I can hear some cool bass work going on in the background as well. I really like the guitar riff. Speaking of guitar... guitar solos, nice. This song is already great, okay? Oh yeah. That was fucking awesome. That is how you start an album, okay? You know, just high energy, but it's also just a great song in itself. Also, I forgot to mention, Rise Against have always had excellent lyrics in my opinion. Like, their lyrics are almost perfect to me. Like, they're never... I rarely find a Rise Against lyrics that I just think is, like, a bit stupid or cringy. The lyrics are always just so solid. The next track is called House on Fire. Song about love, I guess? Everything sounds new so far, like, it's their style, but it doesn't sound like I've heard it in another song yet. Another really solid track in my opinion. If I'm not saying too much about these songs, it's mainly because, you know, they're not like blowing me away or anything, but they're still awesome songs that I can really enjoy and stuff. It's nothing ridiculously original, obviously, but that's not really what they're going for, of course. And the next song is the single, The Violence. Fucking ads! I need to get Spotify Premium already. Rise Against has always been really fun to play on bass. I mean, it's really simple stuff, but it just works well. The chorus is really catchy. jeez, it's pretty epic. Oh, a dream. So I wouldn't really call it like a new sound, but there's just hints of something new, and I can't really pinpoint what it is, but maybe it's something to do with the production, or like, you know, the mastering, or the mixing, or something like that, that I just can't really put my finger on. Next song is called Welcome to the Breakdown. I feel like we're gonna get one of these beats. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Simple chorus, but it's good. That beat again. I hear that beat all the time in Rise Again songs. I like whatever that was. Okay, that was Welcome to the Breakdown again. Decent song. I think as the album goes on and we start to hear like more songs that just, you know, I'm gonna have that problem of the songs blending in again, because once you hear a lot of songs that sound the same one after another, they will start to blend in, obviously. But hopefully there'll be some like really standout songs somewhere in here. We'll see though. Anyway, this next song is called Far From Perfect. Sounds a bit more pop punky. See, that bit sounds like Green Day. I'm loving these screams. Screamed on like every song so far. Not complaining though, it sounds great. I'm really liking these quiet bits in between the songs, like in the bridges. Sounds really nice. Beautiful! That was Far From Perfect, and that song was not far from perfect. That was pretty close to perfect in my opinion. I've always been a fan of those kinds of, that sort of chord progression, the sort of emotion that comes with it. You know, it's not as hard-hitting as some of their other songs, and I know a lot of Rise Against fans prefer the hard-hitting stuff, but I honestly really like those songs, and there's quite a few of them on the black market, which might be why I felt like that album had sort of a hint of something new, and probably why I enjoyed it a lot more than some of their other albums that were starting to blend together a bit at this point. Next song is called Bullshit. This is gonna be fun. I mean, you got a song called Bullshit. That's great. Cool riff. I feel like it's a bit cheesy when bands do this, like, it sounds like they're trying to be catchy, but it's not necessarily catchy. It's a bit slower. It sounds like the guitars are almost doing like a bit of a reggae thing there. This is bullshit! Objection! Back into the major scale. Back to the minor scale. It's a little bit cheesy showing bullshit at the top of your lungs, but it's pretty cool. I wanted him to actually like scream bullshit, like bullshit! Probably not like that, but like, you know, in his voice. That's my screaming voice. And I think I just fucked up my throat doing that. That was a pretty cool song, it was pretty fun, but it was a little bit not cringy, but like a bit cheesy shouting bullshit at the top of your lungs, like, and it just kind of feels like it was a song made for being played in an arena, but on an album it sounds a little bit cheesy, and yeah, I don't know. I find this a lot when I hear bands like just doing this like whoa, whoa kind of thing in their songs. You know, you hear it all the time, and sometimes it's catchy, but other times it feels like bands are just kind of trying to be catchy with it, and really the crowd chanty bit isn't actually that catchy a lot of the time. I don't know, that one wasn't that catchy either. So next song on the album, we are on track 7. This song is called Politics of Love. So is this a political song or is this a love song? Or I mean a song about love. Yeah. This sounds like it might be one of my favorites again. I will admit that like the song structures are very like They're too similar for me, personally, but the actual songs themselves are really good, so... Yeah! That was fucking awesome again. Again, a very, very powerful song that I really enjoyed, and I can sense that one being one of my favorites. Next song on the album, Parts Per Million. 1, 2. Whoa. Bit of groove, I guess. Oh yeah, we haven't heard a tempo change yet. I think we just had one. I think that song had like the best instrumentation on the album so far, on a song on this album so far. Every instrument has been on point so far, obviously, but I think sort of the bass, the guitar riffs, and the drums in that one were just all really stood out to me on that song in particular for some reason. Next song is called Morning in America, but the America is with a K. We're all living in America. So far I've been really enjoying the album. Every song has been either solid or fucking fantastic. However, they have all sounded very similar, as Rise Against songs often do, meaning that it stops the songs from letting each other stand out more. Seems like all their songs are like, have to be above 140 BPM. Sounds a bit like pop punk. This song's okay, I guess. I feel like this could very easily be a Green Day song. Like, I can almost imagine it with Billy Joe Armstrong's voice to it. Okay, that song wasn't as good in my opinion. Oh, that song was alright. It was maybe the weakest one that I've come across so far on this album, to be honest. I don't really know what my problem was with it. I mean, it was in the major scale for the most part, which isn't a problem. I actually like it when Rise Against songs are in that scale, but... And it did stand out a bit as being a bit more upbeat, I guess. In that sense, I mean, a little bit more happy sounding, I guess you could say. But I don't know, it didn't stand out to me as much. I think maybe the guitar lines and the instrumentation just wasn't doing as much interesting things on that song, perhaps. But anyway, we've got 2 more songs left. First we have How Many Walls. So that's a good guitar line. That is fucking awesome. I thought this song was a bit longer for a moment, but it's actually like about the same. He's letting off a lot of screams at the end of these songs. Okay, that was a really good song, I think. Possibly up there as one of my favourites on the album. Not quite as good as Wolves or the other one that I said I liked a lot. I forgot what it is. And with that, we only have 1 song left. Now, so far on this album, again, I'm having the same problem of a lot of these songs just feeling very similar to one another, and they're not being kind of enough of a variation to kind of give the album more of a flow. I mean, there isn't really a flow, it's more just like a straight line if I was to draw the flow. I mean, the final song, Miracle, could change that, but it's only 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So it's seeming like it's gonna be another kind of, you know, typical Rise Against song, perhaps. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but I personally really like albums to have sort of ups and downs. I don't mean in terms of quality, but in terms of like tempo, instrumentation, kind of, you know, different, just little bits of variation throughout, just to kind of make it interesting, different styles and stuff. Rise Against just kind of have one style, and it seems like this album isn't going to have an acoustic or like slow song like some of their past albums have had. You know, songs like People Live Here, which is a fantastic song from their last album. Unless this final song, Miracle, is that, but I don't think it is. But we'll see. I'm just waiting for it to load. Okay, for some reason it took ages to load. I think I finally got it now. Okay, yeah, sounds like we're kicking straight into it. It sounds good as an individual song at least. this chorus. Another quite, yeah, like every song has had the exact same kind of formula to it, even though it's been a bit slightly different from usual Rise Against. That's cool. So that ended very abruptly, and I don't really like albums to end like that. For me, the ideal sort of final song in an album is a song that either has a slow start to it, or has a slow song before it that leads into it, or sort of builds it up a bit. But that just kind of kicked it off, and it just felt like sort of any other song on the album. And it was a good song individually, but it didn't feel like the perfect closing track in my opinion. I also really like it when final songs and albums have this big epic climax at the end, or something like that. That song didn't really have that, it just ended like really abruptly, and I feel like a lot of Rise Against, I think every Rise Against album that I've heard has sort of done this, just had a really abrupt end, and just had a sort of standard final track on the album. And you know, some people like final songs and albums to just be, you know, really hard-hitting, energetic songs that are, you know, just individually great songs, which is understandable, but I feel like a final song in an album needs to stand out as something more, because just having a song that sounds like all the other songs in the album as your final song, no matter how great that song might be, I feel like it's held back by the fact that you've just heard a bunch of songs that sound like it already. So that was the new Rise Against album. It had a lot of really great songs on it in my opinion, a lot like every Rise Against album. There's like some really great songs, and then just a lot of other songs that aren't necessarily mediocre, but just they're solid, but they don't do anything to kind of stand out. Sort of in terms of the structure, reminds me a lot of albums like Endgame and The Sufferer and The Witness. But I think I might actually prefer this album a little bit for some reason. All the hooks and choruses were fairly solid for the most part, and they didn't feel forced or anything. There wasn't anything that felt particularly forced on this album, which is always good when you can have a band this far into their career which isn't struggling to come up with new choruses and hooks and stuff, because I feel like a lot of bands often get to that point in their career. This album is just kind of what I expected, to be honest. What I expect from Rise Against, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing to you depends on you. I see it as sort of a good thing because I like Rise Against's sound. I love the passion, the lyrics, and the overall power. I just don't like that all of their stuff kind of sounds way too similar to each other. That's my big problem. Favorite songs on the album? I would probably say, I'd say my favorite songs on the album were probably Wolves, Far From Perfect, and Politics of Love, I think it was. As for my least favorite songs, I'd probably say Bullshit, just because it was a little bit cheesy. Still a pretty solid song, but just a little bit cheesy, honestly. And also Morning in America, which just felt a bit bland for some reason. Some upcoming albums include the new Royal Blood album and the new Imagine Dragons album, which is gonna be very fun because Imagine Dragons is kind of conflicting to me. If you want to see me cover those two upcoming albums on this channel, then be sure to subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you thought of the new Rise Against album in the comments, and, you know, sound off what you thought. And that pretty much does it. Ta-ta!